Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good morning everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to another edition of the AccessTrading.com weekend update show. Hope everybody is doing well. Filthy, disgusting weather, Mother Nature undefeated. It's been absolutely brutal here for the last couple of days. We finally got a little bit of sun here in New Jersey. I'm assuming all parts of the Northeast. So try to enjoy your Sunday, right? Get some fresh air. And that's literally try to get some fresh air. Hopes and prayers still goes out to all the people affected by the wildfires that are in Canada. Obviously, all of us are getting hit with that as well. Not the greatest quality of air, but again, got to enjoy life somehow. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, spending a couple of minutes with us. If you like what we're doing, you've been watching for a long time, all I ask is take a second out, click that like button, support the channel, and hopefully I will continue to point you in the right direction. Also, guys, if you are an aspiring intraday active trader, right? And you're kind of stuck in the mud, you're kind of trying to trade like everybody else, and you're frustrated and you're stuck in the mud. Guys, come hang out for 30 days, see what these pivots are all about. It is definitely an alternative to the quote unquote normal. So let's talk about it. So we've been talking about now for the last couple of weeks, the major disconnect, okay, between the Magnificent Seven and the semi/memory names. Again, one day, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Google, they're all green, right? And the same day, Microsoft, SanDisk, AMD, ARM, Marvel, they're all red. And then next day, it flip-flops. SanDisk goes up 200, Microsoft sells off 10. We've been kind of having that for like 2-3 months. This is the longest disconnect that I've seen in a very, very long time. But something happened for the last couple of days that we have not seen in the last 2-3 months. And that is a uniformed move in all of technology. And all this was happening as the bulls were trying to defend the 50-day moving average. Again, if you're brand new to trading and you've been watching these kind of videos, on a regular basis, you kind of know, it's a pretty definitive statement. Above the 50-day moving average is good. Below the 50-day moving average is not. And if you only trade one side of the market, you're probably going to feel what happens if you lose the 50-day moving average and stay. Again, remember, it's not a death sentence. Once it loses, it could reclaim it back the next day. But the longer it continues to build below the 50-day moving average, the higher probability that it will finally follow through. And we got that follow through. We finally got that follow through below the 50-day moving average. We finally got the correlation between all the Magnificent Seven and the whole AI trade, right? The whole AI memory semiconductor trade. And now, you look at the charts, and I hope, everybody, especially new traders, go through charts every single day. And you say to yourself, well, what's next? Well, let's discuss it. Number one, you got a fresh round of launches of strikes from the United States and Iran over the weekend. Is this going to be another one of those, we have war and uncertainty and, craziness Saturday and Sunday, and then Sunday night, Trump comes out with a statement, they're ready to make a deal, and then the market goes up again? Sure. Guys, always remember, you're not guessing, right? We're not in the guessing business. You'll never have a career by guessing. So the idea that somebody could turn around and Monday morning say, we're definitively going up. Why? Right? We're definitively going down. Why? Right? There has to be data behind that. And the most important part is data is the reason that we are safe. Data is the reason why we can make an educational guesstimation, right? Guesstimation on what happens next. So if you looked at the data for the last couple of days and we talked about the 710 area, 710 area, 710 area, what happens if the Qs loses 710 area? Well, we got our answer. We traded all the way down to 686. The only thing we can do is see if the market confirms the data. If the market doesn't confirm the data and we have a crazy close and the market goes the other way, well, that's the point. That's the market. That's why you always have to be prepared on both sides. That, if I had to sit there every single day and guess what happens next, how? Right? You might as well be on DraftKings. You might as well be on the MGM Grand site, Fanatics, whatever the case may be, betting on baseball, basketball games. We are in the data collection basin. And for you who see what happened this week, you'll basically see and try to have an idea of what happens next. So let's talk about what happens next. Obviously, the back test has been pretty aggressive in the last couple of weeks of the memory names. Micron has gone from 1250s all the way down to 800. Pretty aggressive move. You have SanDisk, and again, I'm just gonna go through a couple of these memory names. Obviously, Texas Instruments, Western Digital, STX, they're all feeling exactly the same thing. So you're getting this really aggressive unravel. We talked about on Wednesday night's video. Well, what happens when they finally lose the 50-day moving average? You saw it, right? We got that answer. It went from 646 all the way down to 1300. You had a 300-point move in 3 days below the 50-day moving average. If you look at the semiconductors, again, not a pretty picture. Not great, not bad, but not a pretty picture, right? You have AMD. Again, lost the 50-day moving average after a big move down. Qualcomm looks disgusting, right? Qualcomm looked so good just at the start of June, and this absolutely got hit. So the question is now, what happens? Okay, you had them selling off on news Friday that there is continued concern that not necessarily this is a bubble, but the valuations are way out of whack, right? The rising cost of infrastructure is way out of whack. Can they support, right? Can they support current valuations? And we got that answer as well with SpaceX, right? Again, it wasn't, Wednesday wasn't the first time I was talking about how can you have a $3 trillion valuation and be the fourth largest company in the world when you're bleeding money, right? And you can, again, shareholders got our answer. So we're kind of going through the same thing with the memory space, kind of going through the same thing with the semiconductors, but at least now we have our next set of data, and that's the most important part. So let's talk about it going into this week. So the Q sold off, right? Gave a pretty aggressive move, especially below the 710 level. Traded down to 686, which is the 89 EMA. Again, a lot of you guys will say, what the hell did he just say? 89? Yeah, 89 EMA. Again, supply to supply, demand to demand. As you can see, this ugly purple line is the 89 EMA. Now, why was 686 important? Why did the Qs bounce off that 686? Because that was also the low on June the 9th. You see it? 686. Friday's low is 686. Guys, just write this down, okay? If you are a long bias trader, that 686 will be your next area of price discovery. If the market loses 686 to the downside, well, then you have 681, and then you have this whole big gap waterfall to fill all the way down to 687. Right now, the Qs are present day, right? Present day at Sunday morning. Again, I don't know how the market will handle news come over the weekend. If there's any fresh news, come Monday. But as of right now, the Qs are $9 above Friday's closing price, right? 686 is the mother lode now of the macro, big picture, right? Big picture of potential more leg down of selling. If you thought the selling was aggressive in the last couple of days, from once we lost the 710, which was only a 4-day range, well, now you're talking about a range that started on June the 9th. So again, the bigger the range, the higher probability that a more aggressive move will come. So just write this down. You don't need to guess. 686, 686, 686, 686, right? Is it possible we have a dead cat bounce come Monday, Tuesday? Sure, that's the whole point. When levels get defended, price action starts to kind of ramble the other direction, but at least now we have a definitive line in the sand. Are individual stocks completely different on the indexes? Absolutely. Tesla, right? I even gave you guys the number what was it, on Wednesday's video, right? Tesla was sitting at a 2-week range, 690, 690, 690. That's the kind of the whole point about the Qs. The longer a stock sits in a distribution channel, the higher probability when it finally confirms the moves are very, very aggressive. So we talked about 237,000 times they held Tesla at 390, 390, 390, 390. It finally broke 390, traded all the way down to 377. Tesla looks lower. Again, I don't know if it'll go lower on Monday, right? But Tesla looks lower. It looks like it wants to test the bottom of the channel here. Again, there's a lot of broken stocks that are just not good looking, right? That's the best thing, the way to say it. And the longer we continue to build the ceiling below the 50-day moving average, again, remember, we don't need to go down every single day. We could go up 1,000 points on Monday. But the point is, the longer we continue to build below the 50-day moving average, and now the 50-day moving average is roughly around, let's just call it 719, right? The higher probability we could test the 686 level eventually. And when it loses a 686, again, like I said, there is room to the downside. There are some stocks that look okay to the upside, right? Let me give you guys a couple of names. PanW holding up pretty well, right? Holding up fairly well. Again, with all the selling, stock looks pretty decent. Keep an eye on this thing above the July highs. This looks good. DXCM had a really, really aggressive move on Thursday, had an inside day, small profit taking. Watch this thing. Keep an eye on this thing. If this thing starts getting back above Thursday's channel, this thing can wake up. Tesla, again, I still think any intermediate rally, and I've been shorting Tesla into supply pretty regularly since the 50-day moving average. I did take the natural pivot. I think all of us did on Thursday when it finally broke 390. So that was a very, very aggressive move. But now we are below the linear regression line. We're below the 5-day moving average. You can see here the next measure potential is roughly 368, 369. Which were the June lows, but any strength on Tesla should be shorted into intermediate levels or daily supply. Obviously, if it loses Friday's channel, again, there is a lot of room to the downside. And now with the big memory names, right? The big memory names, you can see here now, this is 2 full days closing on Micron. Below the 50-day moving average. We have already a line in the sand going into this week. Again, is it possible it rallies on Monday? Sure. 50, 60, 70. It happens all the time. Again, guys, keep this in mind. There's only one channel, right? The pivot is only going to reclaim the top of the channel or the bottom of the channel. Everything else is used to reject the stock into 60-minute supply or buy the stock into rising 60-minute demand. Anything else in between is irrelevant. And anything else in between, you're hoping, you're praying, and more important, you're guessing. Again, nobody ever made a career out of guessing. So we know the top of the channel on Micron, right? The top of the channel is the 5-day supply where it got rejected. We know the bottom of the channel, which is the week's low on Micron. That's it. That's all you need to know. You don't need to guess where memory price is going to be 3 months from now, 3 weeks from now. Micron's either going to reclaim back, and again, I'm just using Micron as an example. Micron is going to either reclaim back the 5-day moving average or lose last week's low for more downside. That's it. There's nothing in between. Again, like I've been saying for years, you cannot be a little bit pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. The stock is either going to go up, it's going to go down. It can't be in the middle, going up and down, up and down, up and down. You're guessing which way the stock is going to go next based on past performance. Micron had one of the greatest generational runs in the history of any single symbol. Does it have to go back to the highs? Right? Your guess is as good as mine, but that's the whole point. Your guess is as good as mine. Wait for the data to confirm and wait for things to play out safely. So that's everybody. I got a whole laundry list of things to do. We are always prepared on both sides of the market. Again, if you are struggling in your career and you're an active trader, not investor. Again, I don't know what Tesla is going to be in 3 months. I don't know what Micron is going to be in 2 years. We are going day-to-day basis based on the data on the previous night. If things confirm, fantastic. If they don't, guess what? There's a whole other side of the market to trade. All you got to do, guys, spend the next 30 days, take a look, see if the pivots are right for you. God's help. Have a wonderful Sunday, and I will see you all on the field tomorrow. Take care.